hugged your chest, boy. I just won't forget. I'll be.
So, are you three coming up with conspiracy theories?
So a few years ago, I made a video where I implied that iconic 80s box office bomb Perfect starring John Travolta and Jamie Lee Curtis was the inspiration behind Banana Fish. And I still believe that conspiracy. But it wasn't the only Banana Fish conception conspiracy that I had. In fact, it was the less convincing one. Obviously, storytellers can pull inspiration from anywhere and anything. It's not uncommon for creatives to be inspired by other countries' IP. The Matrix being inspired by Ghost in the Shell comes to mind. However, statistically, it is more likely for creatives to be inspired by stories that they are in closer physical proximity to. So while John Okumura and Jashly Kerr Lynx are highly likely the inspiration, honestly, they're literally the same exact characters. I think it's more likely that Banana Fish is actually just yaoi fanfiction of another popular 80s series, this time from Japan. Namely, Ginga Eiyuu Densestu, aka Legend of the Galactic Heroes by Yoshiki Tanaka. Spoilers for both series as we go, but please do not spoil me on Ginga Eiyuu. I'm a Die New Thief anime only. I already had Banana Fish spoiled for me like several weeks before it finished back in 2018. Please and thank you. Ginga Eiyuu Densestu, which you may or may not be familiar with due to its fairly popular 80s anime, or its, as I mentioned, more recent anime adaptation, Ginga Eiyuu Die New Thief, which I'm still waiting on a new season for, Anime Japan was a lie, is effectively an intergalactic wartime space opera about the Free Planets Alliance and its origination/eternal enemy, the Galactic Empire, Alexa play the Vader March. It's a lot of bit Star Trek-ish and a little bit Star Wars-ish, like there's literally dueling Death Stars. Ginga Eiyuu is some good shit I highly recommend, but it's so clearly inspired Banana Fish, like I'm 95% sure. First of all, came out in the 80s, same time period as Banana Fish, but a few years earlier. Banana Fish first published in May 1985, Ginga Eiyuu in November 1982. In fact, half of the Galactic Heroes novels, 5 out of 10 to be exact, had already published by the time Banana Fish debuted in Bisatsu Shoujo Comic. Now, my accusations don't come from nowhere. They never do. I'm a basic bitch, not a baseless bitch. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, LOGH, log H was huge with Fujoshi in the 80s. Just look at Reinhard and Kirihaisu in any given scene. We have eyes. More on them later. Huge Fujoshi following obviously means huge doujinshi and derivative work seen, and Ginga Eiyuu absolutely benefited from this. And it couldn't be more claret and clear that Akimi Yoshida was part of the BL Vision bandwagon, especially when you look at the main characters of each work. The main characters of Banana Fish are Ash Lynx and Eiji Okumura, a blonde American and a Nipponjin tourist. The main characters of Ginga Eiyuu, very similarly, are Reinhard von Lohengramm and Yang Wen-li, who have an identical aesthetic and similar separate nation situation. Now, do Reinhard and Yang meet in one country and combat the underworld and its illicit government connections together? Technically, no. For most of the story, they're light years away from each other and don't directly interact. In fact, structurally, their relationship is enemies as military leader figures on opposing sides of a space war. You may say, okay, so how in the literal fuck is that Banana Fish? Oh, to be an ignorant, blessless whelp. I want to shout out Ponska for fairly recently reaffirming something that me and many of the true believers watching this video already know.
DL は用意されてるものじゃない。見出すもの。普通の戦うやつじゃん。だからこそよ。彼女いるっぽいじゃないですか。だとしても
Akimi Yoshida did not need physical proximity in order to see her vision, and she didn't need the canon to canonize her ship, which is why she made Banana Fish as a young hard mafia Eiyuu spin-off. And this approach of reskinning derivative ships and publishing it as original manga is far from unheard of. Look at the baby Jesus of BL, Kaze Takino Uta. It single-handedly not only created boys Rabu as we know it, but it immaculately conceived more black hair, blonde hair, yaoi ship dynamics than we know what to do with. That conception was immaculate, bro. Now, on the surface, I can see why the unenlightened may watch this video and assume that my conspiracy theory is simply surface level. I even mentioned that there's no shortage of blonde hair, black hair BL dynamics. But it's deeper than rap, Ricky Rose! What if I told you Reinhard has an older sibling who's a victim of circumstance and one of the few people he's loyal to? Or how Yang has an older mentor and ally of his own in his endeavors? Reinhard and Ash also share the same silent but angry personality as individuals fighting against their surroundings and the old men who have taken advantage of them, while Yang and Eiji are frankly too goofy for their own good. In fact, the most masterful connection that Akimi Yoshida utilizes between Ash and Eiji to connect it to Reinhard and Yang is the utilization of distance. In the original Ginga Eiyuu, Reinhard and Yang are physically light years apart for most of the time, and Yoshida converted this distance in Banana Fish into the invisible barrier preventing Ash and Eiji from consummating their love. I don't like complimenting Akimi Yoshida, but I'll give her this. Why do I not like complimenting her? Because she is so clearly clearly a hater of my man, Kirihaisu. Ginga Eiyuu spoilers, brace for impact. But one of the most heartbreaking parts of the story is the death of me and Reinhard's boyfriend, Kirihaisu. Reinhard and Kirihaisu are only not canon if you gouge your eyes and ears out and think the only definition for gay is happy. Their physical intimacy is giving CCP restricted Danmei Donghua leaf possession lip touches. So for Yoshida to ship Rein Yang is basically the equivalent of putting Zhang Cheng on the front of a new hardcover edition of Modao Zusha, in that it's not actually that big of a fucking deal. It doesn't change the canon whatsoever. But terminally online toads who are overreactionary are going to delusionally act like their ship is being erased for no good fucking reason. So when it comes to Akimi Yoshida's creative decisions, you can call me Mr. Toad. Much more subliminally, Kirihaisu does appear in Banana Fish, albeit in a very, very starkly different intentionally appearance as Shorter. He's Ash's best friend, his partner in crime. He dies! Identical to Kirihai's role in Ginga Eiyuu. She hated him so bad, she spiritually had him killed a second time. And that's why I hate her. Just kidding, it's for other reasons. And that, in conclusion, is why Banana Fish is Mafia Eiyuu of Reinhard and Yang, who here is also dying for a new season of Loghe DNT, which is now what I'm going to be calling it. And who's your favorite Loghe ship? Mine is Poplin and Konev. And was anyone else spoiled on Banana Fish before the anime finished airing, or was it just me? Tomorrow is the start of the final 5 of Pride, and I'm gonna help the Strags out by giving them a list of anime they absolutely should not watch. Bye!
Be my American boy and I